it just really depends on the person, how they feeling that day.
Yeah, it was funny. Like when you first got here, we were waiting for your tools of the trade to come from the bellhop, and we were sitting here for a bit. And I was like, "Oh, let's save it for the podcast. Let's save it for the podcast." And you're like, "Yeah, no, I'm fine sitting in silence." And I'm like, "Okay." And then I just keep chatting because I'm a chatty Cathy. and then I noticed when you started working on me, I'm like, and then.
You just started to join them down.
And then meow.
Little by little.
And I could tell you were kind of like, but you were just kind of like, you know, let me kind of like slowly decompress and come down. Yeah, that was good. You're good at what you do. What's a common misconception people might have about the type of work that you do? Flexibility, personal training. I love your little memes that you do.
Oh, with personal training?
Yeah. And I hate to say little. I don't mean to be like dismissive. It's a Puerto Rican thing. We call everything little.
I think, especially with body work, people over-sexualize it a lot.
Ooh, okay. Has anybody hit on you like during a session?
Times,
oh my gosh. How often does it happen? I guess is a better question.
MeMeCherry presents a series of fortunate events. Fortunate events, fortunate events, a series of fortunate events.
Great, we're just going and we're just gonna get going. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, everybody, to the latest episode of the series of Fortunate Events podcast, brought to you by who? It's still me, MeMeCherry, coming to you still from the beautiful Virgin Hotel in Las Vegas that I'm joined today by
Greg Savage.
Hi, nice. Well, not nice to meet you because I've met you.
Right.
We are post body session, and we have the cameras, but really, like, it's just about us hanging out. And I'm a little speechless right now, so this is probably going to be the fastest SOFE pod ever.
Got to get your life together.
But we're going to get through it. You know, actually, it's funny. I was thinking about it, and I was going to tell you while you were doing it, but then I was like, no, I'm going to save it for the podcast. I've had a lot of bodywork sessions over the years.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that, like, me and my mom do is, like, you know, we'll stay at a nice hotel, we'll get the massage.
Right.
Over years, we have kind of, like, massage therapists that we work with regularly, and you're definitely, like, top 5 body workers ever.
Hell yeah.
You're very much a natural at it. You're really, really good.
Thank you.
You're very in tune with, like, what's going on with the body. What have you learned about humanity by working on people's bodies the way that you do?
People don't feel safe enough.
Oh.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
People don't feel safe enough either with themselves or, I mean, I know it's kind of naive to say, which is completely understandable, but they don't feel safe enough with, even if I'm a stranger and I'm, you know, a professional at what I do, I could just feel that in their bodies, they're not completely, you know, relaxed or trusting, you know, in the whole situation with somebody who they're paying to give them a specific service to help them relax.
Yeah.
They still won't give them, you know, surrender, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I think that, I think with the very stimulated society we live in and everybody always being on the go, it's kind of hard for people to kind of, you know, take a step back and get into that mode of, you know, zen or relaxation if they're not, you know, sleep unconscious, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
it's definitely something that I immediately noticed as soon as I got very versed into it, you know?
Oh, yeah. So. I mean, I've been go to the point that when I met you in the lobby, you're like, how do you say your name? And all I heard was,
yeah, you were
because I'm like, yep, and you're like, how do you say your name? And I'm like, oh, God, I am full. I'm hitting delirium. So I actually accidentally scheduled this session at the perfect time because you're the second to last person that I have on this sprint. And actually I'll probably be a little bit less delirious now with my last guest thanks to you.
There we go.
Because you helped me. We sat outside.
Helped you reset a little bit.
Yes, so I'm in this beautiful suite at the Virgin Hotel. Shout out Virgin Hotel Las Vegas. And I got the patio suite and you were very generous enough to just like be outside in the sun. Nice yeah, because I know it's a little bit of a hot day, but like it was nice to be in the sun and you were just stretching me like a pretzel, making me cry like a baby, making
Whistle
me
like a
say,
train.
"Ay, mamacita," choo-chooing like a train. Shout out Millie, my personal trainer, who knows when the choo-choo train comes up. So you're passionate about bodywork, you're passionate about plants, you're passionate about PlayStations. I'm a video game nerd myself.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out Nintendo. What's your favorite video game on the PlayStation?
That's a hard one right now.
I didn't realize it was going to be such a hard question out the gate.
I would have to say The Last of Us right now.
The
As far
Last
as-
of Us.
as
That's
far
the
as,
one
like,
that the HBO show is based out of?
It's on TV right now, and I would say as far as story goes, and the gameplay, and pretty much just the whole thing is a masterpiece to me. I'm more of an RPG gamer. You
Okay.
know, like I like stories. I like
Sure.
making decisions, but I also like the aspect of different elements of, like, you know, being able to roam around the whole world and do side quests and all of that. So I like that. That I'm playing. What am I currently playing right now?
I call that questing.
Questing.
Yeah,
What?
when you because when you have a game that's big enough that you can just do side quests, you're questing.
Okay. Yeah. I play a lot of questing games then, if that's the case. The
Yeah.
one I'm playing right now is the new Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Oh, nice.
So that's one that I'm really liking so far.
Yeah, Zelda Breath of the Wild on Nintendo is
Okay.
now my all-time favorite
I
game.
used to be a big Nintendoer when I was younger.
Of
when
course.
Smash Bros.
Yes.
And all those, but I haven't played Nintendo in a minute.
The Switch
minute.
is cute. It's
I see a
fun.
lot of people with the Switch.
Yeah,
like
and
it.
I love that you can have it handheld and then dock it for the TV.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's what I have. I have the dock because I have like the Pro controller. I love like a chunky controller. You gotta be able to feel your controller.
Is that the thing that like turns into like a small TV?
So no, but the Switch the Switch does have like
Yeah, because it's portable.
TV.
and you
Yeah,
can,
and
like, take it-
yeah, and I think you can like watch like Netflix and shit like that on it.
that's
If I'm
dope.
not mistaken, yeah, I think because I
Okay.
think it is like a little TV. But so when you dock it, so there's like a little docking station that clicks to the thing. What the controllers, the Switch basically is like a little monitor that has little controllers that slide out, but they're tiny. They're like
Okay.
for children hands.
Yeah.
No. You keep those in the docket, and there's like Pro controllers that they almost look like what's the other one? Like Microsoft. You know what I mean? Like they look like, gamer controllers. And so I love those because the other thing is that they vibrate, like depending on like
Okay,
the
so they're
game.
interactive.
Yes, it
Yeah.
has like the
That's how the
vibrating
PS5
capabilities.
controller is right
Yes,
now.
exactly.
Yeah.
The PS5, exactly. Very like that. And and I love Zelda. Breath of the Wild is great. I played Breath of the Wild from the beginning to the end 4 times. Just like starting it over from the beginning.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning you like have nothing. Like you have like tattered clothes and like no
Yeah,
weapons.
You got to build up.
Yes,
Build your points up and everything.
exactly. Yeah, and get all your little outfits. But what I love secretly about Zelda, and it's probably because I'm a baker at heart, part of Zelda is in Breath of the Wild and Skyward Sword, so in the game you collect little things that you can use for different things. So like, diamonds to like make your armor better, or like mushrooms to
Okay.
like make little food to like
see.
make you stronger, make you faster.
I see.
And so there's like a scene, like you have to go to like a town or like a specific place to like find a little cooking pot, and then you throw your little ingredients in, and there's like a little
definitely sounds
song
like a
that
questing
plays.
game.
Yes.
I never played Zelda that much, but I played them when I chose them for a character in what's the name, Smash Bros.
Yes.
But I never actually.
Everybody loves Link.
Yeah. I'm whooping everybody with him.
Is there anything that you've learned from being a gamer that you apply to your life?
That's a good question. Consistency.
You took the word out of my mouth.
Biggest thing is consistency.
Yeah,
'cause,
right?
Pretty much with any game, you're gonna die. You're gonna have to, solve problems and everything. And no matter how irritating the game might get, you're gonna have to constantly go back and fight that guy, or
Yes.
go back and try to complete that mission. And getting to the end of the game is literally that's the whole concept.
Yeah.
It's just you have to be consistent with
Yeah.
it. So pretty much with everything, especially like training myself, I keep that in the forefront of my brain, consistency, because, you know, I didn't get to where I am now just from, you know.
You didn't wake up like this, like Beyonce says.
Unfortunately, I didn't.
What's your go-to way to mentally reset after a day, especially something like body work, right? Like I'm sure that you have to do things to like ground yourself after a session.
Yeah.
Are there secrets that you can share about how you ground yourself?
I mean, it's cliche, but meditation is the biggest thing.
Yeah, makes
even if I have 5 to 10 minutes to spare, just sitting in silence or sitting in like a very a certain frequency, and just sitting in my thoughts, or trying to clear my head maybe. And other times I just like to get high. And that'll help. Absolutely, that'll help entirely.
Team California sober over here.
So that'll help me a lot. And my hammock, laying in my hammock.
Oh, my grandfather loved his hammock.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you being cradled.
Yeah.
And I have mine set up right underneath all these plants, these big plants. So it just looks like I'm in a jungle, you know.
Well, so I grew up in Puerto Rico, and my grandfather used to have a house in the mountains down the street from the jungle, from the rainforest. And his hammock was outside, and we used to sit in it at night, and he would point out the stars to us, and we would play Veo Veo, which is like, I guess it's like, you know, when you see something, like I see something, I see, and then you point out like, oh, I see something that's the color blue.
Like I Spy you?
I guess, yes,
Okay.
I Spy, exactly.
Okay.
Veo Veo is I Spy, exactly.
Okay.
And yeah, so like when you say hammock, I just immediately like just think of being in the hammock with Johnny Lucas
It's
in
so
Puerto
comfy.
Rico. I know. How do you feel? And actually, it can't be, now that I think about it, it can't be a one-word answer, and it can't be a similar feeling every time. So I'm curious the breadth of feeling that you must feel after you leave a session with a client. Like, it must be like depending on what their mood,
It's
like
depending on the client.
if have a chaotic household or like a Zen household.
Like generally, how do I feel after
Yeah.
I finish? Yeah, it's definitely depending on the client, because if they come in and they have like they're stressed and they just had a long day and they need to get all of that off of them, or even if they don't get it all off of them, I feel it, you know, and it could be in their muscles because of how tense they are. I do my best to breathe throughout the session too, because as I'm working on them, it's an energy exchange, so I'm absorbing everything that they have going on. So if they having a crazy day, then I'll feel the brunt of that. And then if they're, you know, upbeat, they're positive and everything, I'll probably finish that session feeling like I can go right into another one. So it just really depends on the person, how they feeling that day.
Yeah, it was funny. Like when you first got here, we were waiting for your tools of the trade to come from the bellhop, and we were sitting here for a bit. And I was like, "Oh, let's save it for the podcast. Let's save it for the podcast." And you're like, "Yeah, no, I'm fine sitting in silence." And I'm like, "Okay." And then I just keep chatting because I'm a chatty Cathy. and then I noticed when you started working on me, I'm like, and then.
You just started to dwindle down.
And then meow.
Little by little.
And I could tell you were kind of like, but you were just kind of like, you know, let me kind of like slowly decompress and come down. Yeah, that was good. You're good at what you do. What's a common misconception people might have about the type of work that you do? Flexibility, personal training. I love your little memes that you do.
With personal training?
Yeah. And I hate to say
enjoy
little.
it.
I don't mean to be like dismissive. It's a Puerto Rican thing.
it's
We call
okay.
everything little.
I think, especially with body work, people over-sexualize it a lot.
Ooh, okay. Has anybody hit on you like during a session?
Plenty of times,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh. How often does it happen? I guess is a better question.
I'll probably say more often than not.
I mean, because you're a handsome guy.
Every other session, I would say, you know.
Oh,
like,
wow.
And it's not direct. It's not like in your
course.
face, but it's just, you know, little comments here.
But you
little
can also
comments there.
tell like a vibe and energy and
Yeah,
stuff.
for
Yeah.
sure.
I mean,
For sure.
I'm sure it's a compliment. What does sustainability look like for you doing something like bodywork practice and working with other people's energies? How do you make?
Sustainability, like longevity.
How do you keep it sustainable?
I got to take care of myself.
Yeah.
with working out, keeping my body strong, and then with the opposite, decompressing myself too, and getting body work and everything like that. Because if I don't, then I start to feel it, and if I feel it and it's affecting like my range of motion, how I flow, where my mind is, because I'm thinking about my body and how tight it is, then that'll affect that person's session. So I just have to be consistent with, you know, what I preach, and that's taking care of myself.
How does the way that you take care of your plants, how does that, like, is there like a common ground with the way that you take care of your clients? You did mention that you leave certain frequency music playing for your plants. And I noticed when we were outside, you have very specific music that you play.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a crossover. Are there any other crossovers in the way that you take care of your plants and you take care of your clients?
Just it's a very nurturing concept, you know, just on both sides. You know, I have to water them, give them sunlight. I have to, you know, give them attention, give them the music, give them a little, you know, a little talking session every now and then. And I feel like that's just naturally like how I am. And so it just kind of reflects into my sessions with bodywork.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. That's nice. Do you want to play a quick little game?
Let's do it.
Okay. I'm going to give you a scenario.
Okay.
And you're going to tell me if you would hit pause or if you would hit play. It means like you're into it or you're not.
Okay.
Foam rolling while binge watching Game of Thrones.
I'll hit play because I've never seen Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay. There you go.
I heard
Just
good
don't
things
do
about
it during the Red Wedding.
What's the Red Wedding? What the hell is that?
Do you want a spoiler alert?
Sure. I don't have any plans to see it anytime soon.
Okay, so Game of Thrones is there's a lot that goes on in Game of Thrones. A lot of families that like betray each other. There's like a lot of power playing. And so, you know, like the whole kind of like kings and queens that like people marry people right for power. And so there's a storyline where like one of the main characters of like one of the good houses is going to marry somebody. And if I'm not mistaken, like he might have like snagged her from somebody else because they actually loved each other versus like an arranged marriage. And then like the bad people were like, haha, yeah, right. You think you're going to be able to have real love without any fucking madness. And anyways, what was supposed to be a wedding ended up red because there was a lot of bloodshed.
Oh, damn. Wow. So everybody at the wedding died.
Kind of.
Fuck.
A lot of people died.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of why I put
wild.
those together. Buying a plant based solely on vibes. I feel like you would hit play on that.
Buying a plant solely. Pause.
Oh.
I wouldn't.
Oh.
I wouldn't
Okay, tell
simply
me.
Because even if
You don't know what you're getting into.
I don't know what I'm getting into, and if a plant, usually the more extravagant it looks, the harder it is to take care of it. So if I see a plant
Like
that
an
looks
orchid.
good, yes, and I'm like, oh, I want that, but you know. And then in some places you gotta make sure that it's not sick. Like you might get a plant and then it might have some little mites and stuff inside.
And then it comes
of
and gets all your other little boys and girls sick.
Exactly. So can't go off vibes with plants.
Who's your most high maintenance plant?
Ooh, my most high maintenance plant right now, I would say it's called a calitha.
Oh.
And it's a prayer plant.
Oh.
And it's called that because at night it goes up, and then during the day it comes back down. The leaves go up and down. It has its own circadian rhythm. And right now it's doing pretty good. I've been doing pretty good taking care of it, but for some reason, like the past 3 months, it just decided to start dying on me. It's still alive, like a good little chunk of it, but not nearly as much as it was like a few months ago. So it can be a little finicky sometimes.
Prayed a little too hard.
Yeah.
Cold plunge. Pause or play.
I'll play. Yeah.
Stretching on an airplane on a very, 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 very long flight.
Like stretching myself?
Just you like, yeah, you're like in the middle
play.
of the airplane
For
aisle,
sure.
just getting your stretch on. It's
Play.
a 12-hour flight.
Absolutely.
You're
Play.
hitting play.
1,000%.
You're stretching on that airplane. Me too.
Yeah.
Group fitness or solo gym time? Which one are you hitting play and which one are you hitting pause? Or both, one or the other?
I like group fitness. I like working out with other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially people that push me. Yeah.
Yeah. I only like working out with my trainer. I don't
Okay.
like working out with other people.
Okay.
You know, it's interesting. And actually, thoughts on this, and this is the last pause or play, and might be, I try to not be judgmental, but we're all human at the end of the day, and sometimes we're out here judging. And I can't help but sometimes feel sad for and sometimes feel a little judgmental of like these couples that come in the gym and like the girlfriend just stands there while like the boyfriend works out.
Wait, the girlfriend stands there?
Yeah. And sometimes it's like, so like this morning I saw one version where she's like literally in flip-flops and like not doing anything.
She's
so
just
like,
tagging along.
yeah, it's giving like either she doesn't want to be in the room by herself or like she doesn't trust her man at the gym. I couldn't tell which one it was. And then there's other ones where like you can tell the girl is working out with the boyfriend, but it's like they're trading off on the exercise. And to me, like, that's not like beneficial use of time. Like, you do your thing, I do my thing. We're both working out.
Me personally, I couldn't do that because it's just, unless we are on the same track as far as goals go.
Yeah.
But with what the type of working out that I do, I can't like numb it down in order to.
Or like imagine you're like sitting there doing your leg extension and I'm just standing here.
Yeah, that would bother me.
Right?
That would irritate
okay.
me.
Yeah. It and I try not to judge, but I can't help it. I judge. So we're both hitting pause on that one. Do you listen to music when you're working out, or do you listen to podcasts, or both?
I've listened to all of it, like podcasts, motivational stuff, music, old school music. I've dipped into everything.
What's your go-to soundtrack? Like, okay, you're feeling low energy. I have one. You're feeling low energy, but you know you got to get through the workout. And you know if you hit play on this one playlist, you're going to get through that workout.
Lil Jon, White Meat.
Oh, you have it.
Yeah, that's like the Crunk Juice album. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yes.
Yeah, like damn near any track from that album will get me right on track.
That's funny for me because I have like ADD hyperfixation moments, so like it changes over time. So for the last year or so, and it started last summer. So last year, Charlie XCX had the Brat album, and in part of the promotional, she was doing these like nightclub appearances with other DJs. And so there's a boiler room set where it's her and other DJs playing like through her album and other songs. And just that mix, it's like, I swear, they joke that like, oh, that album is to like go to the club and do drugs. And I joke that she put drugs in the music because I put that on and I'm like, and like literally, so like in the pandemic, I gained weight. And so I've been working really hard over the last year and a half, 50 pounds down. I'm shooting for like another 30. Thank you. I'm shooting for like another 30 or 4 just to like really get back to my fighting weight. But I swear I lost a good 20 of those on the treadmill. To that Charlie XCX.
I'm telling you, some music will really like
Yes.
give you some extra energy.
Yeah, and then there's times that like I get to the gym and I feel low energy and I'm like, man, just put it on. Just put the Charlie X and you'll get through it. And I get through it. What do you feel about modalities like Pilates or yoga or things like that? Like, are you pro? Are you against? Are you neutral?
I'm pro.
I love me some Pilates.
I've taken Pilates. I've taken yoga and Pilates. And one of my clients, shout out to the low, and Katie, she's trying to become a Pilates instructor right
Nice.
now. But Pilates is not for the weak.
It's right. Thank you.
It made a hoe out of me. I'm not even gonna lie. Like it I thought.
Had you crying like I was crying outside?
My thighs was crying. Like my thighs was on stripper mode. Like I thought I was gonna go in there just because I was fit. I could lift all these pounds.
Right.
And then I came out of there. My thighs were just on one. But it's really cool because it like works out your different muscles in your stability and in your balance that you wouldn't normally work out during just compound movements and linear movements. We're so used to just being, here with everything. Pilates have you doing all this right here.
Yes.
And, you realize like, damn, I ain't really as, like that as I thought.
Exactly. Yeah. I work with a personal trainer and she's like a tiny little tough tank. And I've been trying to tell her that she should do Pilates because when I don't work with her, I have an app. There's a ladder. It's called the Ladder app. And to me, like I'm very picky when it comes to trainers and fitness apps and stuff like that, just because I worked in gyms for a long time. And to me, the Ladder app is the closest thing to working with a personal trainer, just in terms of like the interface and the way that the workouts are. Anyways, they have the modalities that they do. It's like they have trainers that are like, oh, That program is like a kettlebell program. That program is like a buns program. The one that I do, she's a girl that does Pilates and weight training. And a big part of her modality is like the Pilates days are there to help us with the smaller muscles so that we're that much more balanced for the heavy lift days.
It'll translate into all your bigger stuff.
Yeah. And shout out to her, Coco, and to Millie, my trainer, because when I first started getting back into this fitness thing, I was just like treadmill, stretching, and I wasn't hitting weights. And when I first started working with Millie and she would push me to push heavier weights, I would look at her like, girl, are you crazy?
Yeah.
And
I ain't
yesterday,
trying to look like no man.
right? Well, no, not even that. Like, it's just like, I can't do that. And now between her and Coco, they've pushed me to the point that like Coco will be in my ear, like push it 5 pounds up, push it up 5 pounds. And so yesterday when I was in the gym, I was chest pressing. I was doing chest press with 25, with 25s on each hand.
Hell yeah.
And that's when like the gym bro was like,
good shit.
good job. All right. What you got going there? We have reached our first commercial break.
Okay.
And you two come right back.
I was wondering, do you remember that you have a Patreon?
Wait, I have a Patreon?
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Not only do you have a Patreon, but you also have a certain level of each Patreon that each person can aspire to become.
Yes, you can aspire to be one of my patrons.
What is the first level?
Well, I'm so glad that you asked the honey level. And in the honey level, you're going to get a sticker in the mail. You're also going to get production credit.
Hey.
And you also get access to hot cam footage, editing footage that used to end up on the editing room floor digitally that now ends up in your hot little pockets in your honey level of the Patreon.
What
Yes.
is the second tier?
We have a sugar tier. In the sugar tier, you're going to get not one sticker. You're going to get 2 stickers in the mail every month. You're going to get the production credit.
Hey.
You're going to get the hot cam footage.
Okay.
But you're also going to get the new Patreon exclusive What's in My Snurse and or just other Patreon exclusive content that would not be at the honey level because honey, you're okay, but you're not sugar. If you take sugar and you throw it in a pot, put a little heat on it,
Okay.
you get caramel.
There's a caramel tier now?
That's the top tier.
Okay. I have to know what is in the caramel tier.
What's in the caramel? You get 2 stickers in the mail every month. You know that you also get a little note handwritten by me?
What?
Yes, everybody gets a note with the stickers.
Well, that's fun.
I mean, it's like Christmas. I told you.
Okay.
You get the stickers. You get the production credit because you're what? A producer.
Hey.
You get the hot cam footage. You get the snurse footage. You get the other Patreon exclusive footage. But you also, and we are coming up on the first drop of these that people are going to get T-shirts in the
Look at this.
mail because every 6 months, the caramel level gets a T-shirt in the mail. So yeah, so that is the Patreon.
Patreon.
Hi, we're back with Greg.
What up?
What's one way somebody can feel better in their body without buying anything or making a drastic change?
Stretching.
Right?
Yeah, immediately stretching.
Tell me.
It doesn't have to be anything extensive. Like, it could literally just be like a 5 or 10 minute YouTube video you find online. And especially like your tight areas, the emotional areas like the hips or the shoulders, just stretch it. And like most people, they end their long days and they just go right to bed or, you know, they just sit and watch TV. Stretch your neck while you're watching TV. You know, give a little bit here, give a little bit there, and, you know, you'll feel a lot better immediately.
Yeah, I take a hot bath and I stretch in the bath before
There you go. That's even
before
better
sleep.
because that warms up your muscles.
Oh
and your
yeah,
joints.
yeah.
So it's
Quick
easy
little
to
forward
stretch.
fold.
Mhm.
Oof. What does the world get wrong about discipline?
Motivation. They confuse it with motivation because discipline requires consistency. Motivation, you can have that one day,
It's fleeting.
not have it the next day. But discipline, you can not have it the next day and still wake up and do what you got to do.
Yes.
You know, so discipline and motivation are not the same. Like, there are going to be so many days where you're not motivated to do it. But that goal is going to keep you at the forefront. You know, you're going to do what you got to do regardless.
That's
Yeah.
gold. That's a gem. What is a movement that you do, especially in your practice with others, that feels sacred to you? That upside down pull that you do feels
Yeah.
like, because it's very trusting.
It's that's a fact. Yeah, that's a very trusting one. But I feel like when I'm working on the head and the shoulders, that's very sacred because a lot of people, they hold a lot of shit up here.
Oh yeah, I was crying like a little baby.
And so yeah,
I was like, "Hey, mama, see the eye."
so when I get in there and I get the good spots, like that really helps, like I would say, ground and kind of regulate the person.
Yeah.
You know? So,
Yeah. What surprised you the most about working with people's bodies over the years?
What surprised me the most? That's a good question. What surprised me the most? I think the fact that most people don't realize how much stress they have in their bodies. I don't think anything in particular, like for me, was surprising in most people's bodies, because I think at this point I kind of know what to expect. But for most people, they aren't aware of how one thing can affect the other, like how literally something in your foot can affect something in your hip.
Or how your nutrition affects your mind.
Oh, yeah,
your mood.
Yep, and if something's off your gut, that'll offset that's your second brain.
Yeah.
You know, that'll offset everything else in your body too.
Yeah.
So,
is there any one thing that you hope clients walk away with after a session with you?
how important it is to take care of yourself, like, that's huge. I've literally had people in their 30s who have never ever had a massage in their life, with kids and families. So I just, with each session, I really hope that it sticks, like the feeling, the bliss and everything sticks, so that, 2 weeks from then or a month from now, they feel that tension again and like, oh, it's time to go see Greg, you know, it's time for me to go take care of myself again, you know, so.
Well, I know that you'll be part of my rotation now when I come back to Vegas. You'll be part of the routine. And I think scheduling you at the end was very, very smart. Mm-hmm. And my last guest, they don't know it, but they're going to be very happy because I feel way more grounded and way more present. We do have Greg on a very tight schedule because he does have to go off and run and go work on somebody else. Yeah. Yes, go pretzel somebody else. So we're going to wrap up the main show really quick so that I can also squeeze out a quick little Patreon segment. But before we go, where can they find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram at That's Greg Savage.
How I found you.
Yes. And also same place, TikTok, That's Greg Savage.
Beautiful. Mm-hmm. MeMeCherry Productions is the Patreon. So patreon.com/MeMeCherry Productions is where you can find the extra silly unhinged questions I'm going to ask Greg and all the other guests that are here as part of this podcast sprint in Las Vegas. If you're listening to this podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please leave a 5-star review. I will not take anything less than 5. If you're going to do anything less, don't bother. No, I'm kidding. Please leave me a review. It helps a small glittery pirate ship radio like mine sail deeper and bluer seas. Mm-hmm. If you are on YouTube, leave a like, subscribe. I have a goal of 1,000 subscribers on YouTube by the end of the year. Please, you can be part of that sprint. What's your favorite emoji?
My favorite emoji? Mm-hmm. The laughing emoji. I love to laugh.
Laughing emoji. Leave laughing emojis in the YouTube comments. Leave little angel with the wings emojis in the comments. Leave little dog prints in the comments. August 7th, if you're in San Francisco, or if you're not, come on over. MeMeCherry's Big Bake. It's this year's SOFE Pod live show. We're bringing drag. We're bringing comedy. We're bringing silly podcast games. And I am bringing the Bay Area's first reverse roast. What's a first? What's a bleh? What is that? What the fuck? A reverse roast is me getting my friends together to uplift each other in a cunty way because the world is deep and dark enough as it is. So we're not going to roast each other in a mean way. We're going to uplift each other in a cunty way. I'm calling that a bake. SOFEpod.com/live. Get your tickets. Get your tickets now. SF Oasis. And come on over to the Patreon. But for now, we'll say bye. Bye.
Deuces. Okay, my bad.